Hi everyone, this is an alarm sounding in the holy mountain of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is one of those times where people have to take note that it's important, that it's vital, that many things are happening that are showing you that this church has gone towards Egypt, like Ellen G. White says. So I'm not on this video. I want to show you some things, and my computer, anyway, no excuses, just this is an old-fashioned way of doing it, but I want to read Joel 2:1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Yah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Now, the SDA Church has been in apostasy. Many people don't know it, and I've talked about it in other videos. And I was putting together something for someone who didn't believe that you should leave the SDA Church. And I ended up finding more than I realized was there. And so, first of all, we're going to go through that. And this is on my computer. I'm going to show you this first picture that you're looking straight at. Although it's a side picture that they have, it is a religious liberty meeting in Argentina, and it's for the SDA Church, and they go and have it in other countries, so you don't know what's going on. But right here you can see the logo of the Religious Liberty, which is IRLI, International Religious Liberty Association, and you can see, I'm going to come down right here, and you see you can see on the left hand side is the Religious Liberty logo, and on the right hand side is a drawing of the Eye of Moloch. Moloch is written about in the Bible. It's a false god. It's the owl god, and that is what the Catholics, they have a lot of symbolism for the owl god. If you look at the first picture, you see this left eye and this right eye. So then here, let's look at the actual picture. I'm going to go over these guys. But here is a picture of Moloch, the owl god. And so when you see this right here, you can see in the background, even right over here, you can see the Eye of Moloch. That's what they're trying to show you. Why did they have it right here and right here? Why didn't they do one on top and the one on the bottom? Because the symbols, these are the symbols of satanic forces. So okay, that's the religious liberty. And so the reason why I'm concerned, and you know, I no longer go to the church because we know that Yah has a people that has to come out, and they'll be the true people going over the world to give the light of the gospel, the true gospel, not the gospel of the Catholic Church that the SDA Church is giving right now. So this is what I was going for. I went to go find this picture because this is a picture of Ganoun Diop, and he has positions in the SDA Church that are one of the highest positions that you can have. And I don't think I have. Anyway, if you go to the General Conference, the SDA General Conference, and you look up Religious Liberty, you'll see a picture of this man, Ganoun Diop. And he is in charge of Religious Liberty of the SDA Church. Now here he is at a meeting in 2016, meeting the Pope. And this right here, you can see it says, L'Osservatore Romano. That is the Vatican magazine. In other words, it's in Italian, the Roman Observatory. In other words, they're showing you what's going on in the Vatican. And you have a picture right here of Ganoun Diop, who is, not only is he the Religious Liberty, I don't know what they call him, president, vice president, but also I just found in another article, which I have that off camera because I found it in the SDA Spectrum magazine. Let's see if I can find the Spectrum magazine article. I think it just expired. Okay, so the Spectrum magazine was talking about Guillaume Dunham, that he is the ambassador to the United Nations. So this man is very high up. He's the ambassador to the United Nations for the SDA Church. He's the president of Religious Liberty, and he's also the president of International Religious Liberty. Now, the two organization names is PARL and IRLA. So it's PARL and IRLA. Now, I want to show you another picture now, which you've probably seen this picture. This is a picture of Bert Beach, who took a medallion to the Pope in the 1980s. I think it was 81 or 82. Now, why does it matter what happened in 81 or 82? Well, this man, Bert Beach, he's still alive. And he, if you go to the website, SDA's, regular website, you will see the board of directors of the International Religious Liberty Association. Okay? You look on there. The vice president is Bert B. Beach, the same man who took that medallion and met with Pope. And here he is. He's on this list. He's the vice president, but he's also underneath the panel of experts. The chairman of this liberty right there is Ganoun Diop. Okay? So this man, he gets around, let me tell you. Okay, so here in the middle section of this board of directors, advisory directors, panel of experts, you're going to see John Grass. He was previously in the position that Ganoun Diop is in now, okay? And then you look down here and you see Ted Wilson. So you can't say Ted Wilson doesn't know what's going on, okay? These people are meeting with the Pope. They go to meetings. Now let me show you. Last year, no, this was 2015. This is Ganoun Diop because he's the actual ambassador, which I just read today on Spectrum magazine. You can look up his name and find out these things for yourself. You're going to have to do a little research too. So this is him, Ganoun Diop. And they're meeting with Ban Ki-moon, which he's the previous Secretary General of the United Nations, which the United Nations was founded with the Lucis Trust, which was previously named Lucifer Trust. So the United Nations, Robert Mueller was one of them, and he talked about a one world religion. So when you're putting the SDAs together with this one world religion, and then you have the guy who's our religious liberty, I would like to just say there's a quote in scripture that says, I think it's 1 Peter. Let me go to it real quick. I'd like to just tell you, there's no way that you go to your captors and become friends with them and they're going to give you liberty. Religious liberty. That's the name of the organization of the SDA churches, the Religious Liberty. So they're Public Affairs and Religious Liberty, PARL, and IRL. They're fooling you. They're probably laughing at SDAs behind their backs, saying, we are now confederated with the Roman Church and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, 2 Peter 2:19 says, 2 Peter 2:19, while they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same he is brought in bondage. So, you have to come out of SDA. This is ridiculous. That you have the Eye of Moloch as your logo. Now this is a picture down here of the whole group, and Diom is to the right here at the end. And the Cult of Rome, they've made a confederacy with the Cult of Rome. SDA has. They are not going to change their confederacy. This has been going on for quite a while. Ellen G. White had a vision about this in First Testimonies, I want to say it's page 578, and how the Catholic Church made a procession and they they circled the SDA church 3 times, and they said that you are proscribed. They took over the writings, they took over everything, and now they're blatantly in your face going and having these meetings, and they don't care. Now what's different about what I found out today is, what I didn't know is, here, look here, this is the World Council of Churches. They had a meeting in January 25 of 2017. And of course, here's Dr. Ganoun Diop, SDA guy. He gets to speak and on a global vision of peace. So when they say peace and safety, this is what this man is saying. A global vision of peace. Ganoun Diop. He is part of this World Council of Churches. And if you look up this word ecumeny, that's the ecumenical that's the Greek word for ecumenical is ecumeny. If you look up here in the corner, let me see if I can get it to where you can see that word. Okay, hopefully you can see it. So when you look up in Wikipedia ecumeny, it tells you in Wikipedia, if you look it up, it says ecumenism. Look it up in Wikipedia, ecumenism, and it says the terms ecumenism and ecumenical come from the Greek ekumene, which you see up in this corner up here, ekumene, which means the whole inhabited world, and was historically used with specific reference to the Roman Empire. The ecumenical vision comprises both the search for the visible unity of the church and the whole inhabited earth as the concern of all Christians. But the thing is, this is specific in Christianity. This says in Christianity, the qualification ecumenical is originally and still used in terms such as ecumenical council, ecumenical patriarch, in the meaning of pertaining to the totality of the larger church, such as the Catholic Church or Orthodox Church. When they're having ecumenical meetings, of which you can see right here, Ganoun Diop is speaking for the SDAs. And they always say, well, we're not members of the World Council of Churches. We just go and, oh, here's the Spectrum magazine where it tells you, I didn't know though, that Mark Finley is actually the assistant to the president. That tells you a lot. See, Mark Finley says that Allah is God. If you look here to the right, on this is April 10th. I had something here on April 10th. But over here to the right, you're going to see this picture. Let's see if I can turn the camera just a little bit this way. You're going to see this picture, and it has Unity 2017. This is this month's magazine. Ecumenism all the way. They want to be united with the whole world underneath the Catholic Church. It says, light and darkness, circumstances change the relations of things, they say. Catholic or Adventist, the ongoing struggle over authority. This is just showing you that they're coming together with the Catholics, and they'll say nice things about them, but we have to remember what these Catholics believe. They believe in Mary as your intercessor, and that she's the mother of God. So their whole belief system is based on satanic old pagan goddesses and gods, 3 gods. And they also are touting, Allah is God. And it looks like here they're talking about transgenderism. They're making a new statement on it, and etc., etc. Yet Ted Wilson still reads from the Great Controversy as if he's for real. Let me just go back to this. So here it talks about the International Religious Liberty Association has strong ties to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is funny because The original International Religious Liberty Association was the national association by the SDAs. Then they started allowing everybody in that wasn't an SDA. So you may think that the IRLA is SDA, and it is not. A lot of these members here are not SDAs. Now let me tell you what Ted Wilson's father, Ted Wilson's the president of the General Conference, and his father said, there is another universal and truly Catholic organization, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. That was in the Adventist Review, March 5th, 1981. Neil Wilson also stated the following in court documents under oath. Although it is true that there was a period in the life of the Seventh-day Adventist Church when the denomination took a distinctly anti-Roman Catholic viewpoint, and the term hierarchy was used in a pejorative sense to refer to the papal form of church governance. Let me move this again so you can read this. Okay. And I'm going to be trying to put this on my website, timesandlaws.com, so that you can have this, but it might be a couple of days. Okay. So it says, this is what Ted Wilson's father said, that although it was true there was a distinct period in the life of the SDA Church when the denomination took a distinctly anti-Roman Catholic viewpoint, and the term hierarchy was used in a pejorative sense to refer to the papal form of church governance, that attitude on the church's part was nothing more than a manifestation of widespread anti-popery among conservative Protestant denominations. So that just shows you, Protestants used to be anti-popery, okay? But the SDAs, do you know that there are other churches that will not be part of the World Council of Churches, and it's not the SDA, it's the Pentecostals and somebody else. They won't be a part of this ecumenical movement, but SDA has been part of it for a long time. So he says, among conservative Protestant denominations in the early part of this century and the latter part of the last, and which now has been consigned to the historical trash heap so far as Seventh-day Adventist Church is concerned. This man was a Jesuit. His son is a Jesuit, Ted Wilson. He's a Jesuit. Now, there's Jesuits in the church and there's Jesuits in politics. One of those Jesuits is John McCain, who recently said, I think it was this last month, this is what he said, because people are quoting the Constitution, just like SDAs are quoting Ellen G. White and quoting the scriptures. John McCain is saying that people need to let go of the Constitution now. This is what he said. This is John McCain. To fear the world we have organized and led for 3/4 of a century, to abandon the ideals we have advanced around the globe, to refuse the obligations of international leadership and our duty to remain the last best hope of earth for the sake of some half-baked, spurious nationalism cooked up by the people who would rather find scapegoats than solve problems, is as unpatriotic as an attachment to any other tired dogma of the past that Americans consigned to the ash heap of history. Now look, he's a Jesuit, and he said, basically he's talking about dogma, meaning the Constitution. And up here you have Neil Wilson calling what Adventists who were against the Catholics, that they were consigned to the historical trash heap. He was a Jesuit, and so is John McCain, and he uses the exact same wording, consigned to the historical. This person says trash heap, and probably John McCain was supposed to say trash heap, but he said ash heap. Consigned to the ash heap of history. Okay? So this is a dangerous attack spoken by Neil Wilson, for he speaks of throwing out that Rome is Satan's church, throwing out religious liberty. And McCain is repudiating every principle of the Constitution, and he wants to throw out civil liberty. So you've got Neil Wilson with religious liberty and John McCain with civil liberty. Now, Ellen G. White has a quote in Spirit of Prophecy 277 when she's talking about the two lamb-like horns. She's talking about that they are emblems of innocence and gentleness, well represent the character of our government. The United States was like a lamb at first, as expressed in its two fundamental principles, republicanism and Protestantism. So republicanism meant that the country protected the rights of the minority, whether it be a minority in religion or a minority in ethnicity. And then Protestantism, the fundamental thing of this country was Protestantism. Well, we can now see that the Protestants have united with the Catholic Church. But what's so funny is I will see many Seventh-day Adventists talking about the evangelicals being in cahoots with Trump, but they don't realize the bigger picture is that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is in cahoots with the Catholic Church. And you can see that in these pictures. Let me show you again this picture. Take a good look at it. And this is the name of the Catholic magazine that they had this picture in. They're touting that they have this man, Ganem Diop. He's a secretary. He was, when that picture was taken, was 2016, and he was just a regular secretary. As they have several secretaries. But this year, in one of these articles, this article right here, it shows you this picture right here that's really small. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Let me see. This picture right here, they're talking about, I think it's, yeah, April 10th. And this happens to be the day of the Passover. The Passover started that evening for Yah's true church, the SDAs who are keeping the true worship system that we were all supposed to start keeping in 1844. So come back to this picture right here. They were giving a dinner and giving a certificate of recognition to their previous guy who was in charge, who was Rolf Hill, and he was the going out person. The general secretary, right here, read these words, right here. Let me get it down to this, right here. Let's see if you can see it all. Oh, too big. It says, at a dinner for promoting Christian unity to which the Papal Council had extended an invitation. Christian unity. And what was on the front cover of the magazine for the SDA Spectrum? Unity. At a dinner promoting Christian unity to which the Papal Council had extended an invitation, the General Secretary of CSC WC, Ganem Diop. He's not just participating, he's the General Secretary. He's in charge there, okay? At this, look at this, World Evangelical Alliance. Yet, people are worried about the evangelicals meeting with Trump and not realizing it's these SDAs meeting with the Pope. Which is worse, meeting with the Pope or meeting with Trump, who wants to keep away from the Pope? Okay? I'm not saying I know anything about Trump and who he is. I'm just saying this is worse. And people still stay in the SDA church. You've got to understand, people, that they're promising you peace and safety. They're promising you salvation. But while they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption, for of whom a man is overcome. The SDA church is overcome by the papacy. Who a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. The SDA church is in bondage. And here in this picture, I can't make it any bigger, but let me just say this. If you look real closely, all around the tables is bottles of wine. Wine. Everybody has wine. I don't know if Ganem Diop does. He has a bottle of water. But I'm just saying, these people are meeting for unity, and they're drinking like alcoholics, okay? Drinking wine at their meetings. What does that tell you? The SDA church is fornicating with the whore, Babylon, the Pope, the man who is hiding his satanic worship under the guise of Christianity. We know that they worship Lucifer. We know that they have satanic worship underneath the Catholic churches in the Vatican. I can show you pictures of that. I don't have that up right now. But I've been looking up this man, Ganom Diop. Here's a picture of him closer. There we go. Let me pull this back a little bit so you can see the wine on the tables. Okay? So these people, these are their pictures of this meeting. Report of the Evangelical Alliance. I didn't read this page, but that'll be good to read. They're talking about theological concerns, okay? These people are part of the meetings that are going on there. The Pope is greeting everybody in this picture. And I can't tell who's in this picture, but let's see. Let's continue looking at these pictures. I want to say back here is Ganem Diop. This guy looks just like him at this meeting. And these are all Catholics, folks, that are at this meeting. You can see right there. There's the welcoming address. Guess who welcomes them, people? The Pope. And he talks about, and you can see who's here. It's made up of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. He preaches, the Pope referred to two phrases used by the head of the delegation. Jesus is with us. Jesus is journeying with us. Okay, and then he went on to add that there's another form of ecumenism that typifies our age, that of blood. Okay, and this is the ecumenism of blood. The very thing that Jesus' blood, that we know his name isn't Jesus, it's Yasha. And they use Jesus. You need to come out of using Jesus, the son of Zeus, and start using Yasha. But I could go on just telling you the different things that I found out today, but I just wanted to give you a warning. The SDA Church is part of this World Council of Churches, and it's ecumeny. World Council of Churches, ecumeny. They are all one underneath the Pope. Here's the World Evangelical Alliance that he went to. This is where Ganem Diop was, and he is a General Secretary of that meeting. That isn't something small that's going on. This is large. The reason I'm making this video, and it's not perfect, is because it's almost the way that I felt. I was pacing back and forth, pacing, when I saw that this man is in charge of this group meeting, and he's an SDA. He's also the ambassador to the UN. This is not a small thing, people. You need to get out of the SDA Church. They are a corporation put together with the Roman Catholic Church. They're going to take you down. They're going to change from even proclaiming a little bit of the Sabbath that they do today. We need to keep all of his Sabbaths. He has them mentioned in Leviticus 23. Let me see if I can go there real quick with you. the Catholic Church is the one who's been lying to you, telling you that the law of Moses was nailed to the cross. It wasn't the law of Moses nailed to the cross, because if you want to look in Acts 28, it will tell you that Paul was teaching out of the law of Moses. Let's go to Acts 28. But all the Jesuit preachers in the SDA church teach this Jesuit lie, that the law of Moses was nailed to the cross. Okay, that's Leviticus 23. I must have clicked on that first. Yeah, okay, now let's go to Acts 28. Right here. Acts 28:23. And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of Yah. For you to be in the kingdom of Yah, you have to keep the law of Moses, persuading them concerning Yasha, both out of the law of Moses and out of the prophets, from morning till evening. Some believed and some didn't believe, but if you want to be in his kingdom, you need to have instructions and laws. A kingdom has to have a king, which our king is Yasha. A kingdom has to have laws, has to have a domain, and it has to have people. If you want to be in the kingdom of heaven, you better go by its laws. The only thing that was changed, what we know, is the sacrifice and the oblations ceased at the cross. It's in Daniel. Daniel 7, I want to say 9:27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. The midst of those 7 years, from the time that Yasha preached 3.5 years until the stoning of Stephen, in the middle of that prophetic week, the sacrifice and the oblation ceased. And so no longer do we have to offer animals' blood. Now the very blood of Yasha in the sanctuary is what cleanses you from your sin. So we have a high priest, and he offers his own blood. Let's look in the New Testament. Hebrews 9:7. But into the second went the high priest alone once every year, not without blood. So he's our high priest, and he still goes once a year to cleanse your record and to change you into perfection with his own blood. So our high priest Yasha, you can look up all these high priests. There's still a high priest today. It didn't end at the cross. The only thing that ended at the cross was animal blood, but by better than Abel, he is saving us today by his blood. And we have studies on this. You've got to come out of the SDA church. They're lying to you. They're putting you under the cross of the Catholic Church. When I was a child, we did not have crosses on the church. And Ellen G. White says that crosses are the sign of the Catholic Church. The papists put them on their robes and their buildings, is what she says. Let me see if I can get that real quick for you. Go to Ellen G. White's writings. I think it's in Great Controversy. Maybe if I put insignia. That word insignia, like ensign and insignia, is very important. Okay, I can't find it right now, but it's in the Great Controversy. I almost want to say it's page 99, but now all the SDA churches have the cross as their insignia, and that's how you know they're papal. And the Catholic Church is proud to say they killed the heretical king Jesus. So come out of her, my people. This is a warning. You know that feeling? I don't know if you know this feeling, but when there's somebody cheating on you, you get that feeling that something's terribly wrong, and you have that feeling in your gut because your stomach tells your brain and all the signs tell you this person's cheating. This is the SDA Church. They're cheating. They're fornicating with the Catholic Church. Come out of her, my people. If you have any questions, go to timesandlaws.com, and we'd be glad to study with you. Thank you.